In the town of Chattanooga, Tennessee, there lives a man known as Nick Lutsko. He is something of an enigma, a musician who wears many hats and has developed a sizable following. Today, we'll try to unpack the many layers of what some call the Lutsko-verse. Nick first appeared making a brief musical plea to attend the Republican National Convention, specifically calling out Dan Bongino. Bongino, at the time, was a Fox News opinionist who bore a resemblance to the man in the stairs of Grandma's basement. Nick has since made multiple attempts to ingratiate himself with the Republican Party. He frequently attends local school board meetings to protect the rights of alumni. Nick has also expressed interest in appearing on the Joe Rogan podcast. Nick also attempted to attend the boat parade for Donald Trump, an endeavor which caused him to miss his grandma's birthday. He can be seen here, enjoying the beautiful Tennessee weather as he walks barefoot along the road. Based on the available evidence, it appears that Nick lives in his grandma's house. It seems that she is Nick's only close relative, though she is never featured on screen. We know, however, that Nick's grandma is terrified of animatronics, even going so far as to stay at a Motel 6 when Nick threw a Halloween party. Nick seems to hold his grandma in high esteem. He stated that she would know what to do when his animatronics went rogue, and later took heed of her prophetic warnings. Despite accusations of murder during Grandma's stay at the Motel 6, it's clear that Nick loves his grandma very much. This love is what prompted Nick to request a pardon from former President Trump for the murder charges. Nick has been accused of multiple crimes in addition to murder, though none have been proven at this time. Upon her return from the Motel 6, Grandma introduced her boyfriend Mel. Nick and Mel took an immediate dislike to one another, culminating in accusations that Nick had killed Mel's rare and exotic birds, a point of contention between them to this day. In fact, Mel's fury at the death of his birds led him to hiring a mafia thug called Big Pizza to injure Nick and convince him to reimburse Mel for $100,000. Since then, Nick has made numerous attempts to earn $100,000 to pay off his debt and prevent further injury. Nick has requested to perform at Joe Biden's inauguration, and even went so far as to petition Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr to join Nick in what he styles The Beatles Part 2. But this is not uncharacteristic for him. Nick Lutsko has always been someone who reached for the stars. In no particular order, Nick has reached out to Chrissy Teigen, declared himself the president of country music, became a deputy of Johnny Depp, applied to be Tucker Carlson's replacement, and recorded an unsolicited theme for Spirit Halloween, which the costume mogul has since officially adopted. Nick has made many forays into the world of film and television, beyond Fox and its affiliates. Nick has a large collection of puppets, which is likely what prompted him to want a child-friendly show on the Nick Jr. network. He has also contacted Lorne Michaels about hosting Saturday Night Live when it became clear that Elon Musk was not that good at jokes. More recently, Nick pitched the concept for a new film franchise, Ceviche Man, though it is unclear whether the Hollywood Fat Cats greenlit the project. In many ways, Nick truly is too hot for Hollywood. This is perhaps why he started his own production, first called Saturday Nick Lutsko, and since renamed Seinfeld, which stands for Saturday, Everyone, Internet, Nick, Fun, Exciting, Live, Desmond. A truly spectacular use of acronym. One of Nick's most ambitious ventures is undoubtedly the film Gremlins 3. Early in his notoriety, Nick called attention to Steven Spielberg's failure to make a third installment of the Gremlins films. Nick even pitched a plot for the film, recommending that Gizmo witness the fall of gremlin democracy after having a half-human child with a woman played by Jennifer Aniston. Nick's arrest for the alleged first-degree murder of his grandma caused James Gunn and Jennifer Aniston to withdraw from the project. Nick was not deterred and went on to direct the movie himself. Despite a widely anticipated premiere, the film Gremlins 3 was lost or stolen and has not been recovered at this time. One fascinating result of this movie production is Desmond, a half-human, half-gremlin whose origins mystified Nick's followers for years. It's important to note here that Desmond is not the same person as Gremlin Man, a superhero with perfect sight who may have an opportunity to work with the Avengers. Desmond's history is too intricate to cover here, but we plan to do a follow-up taking a look at the life and times of a great green guy. Hell yup. Nick's bass player, Greasy Rick, came to life much like Desmond. He can sometimes be spotted in the background of Grandma's basement and might be mistaken for a puppet. Earlier this year, he was sucked into the computer, but was rescued by Cowboy John after a heartfelt musical plea and then a guilt trip from Nick. Desmond and Greasy are not the only fantastical beings Nick has encountered. Earlier, we alluded to the man in the stairs and a prophecy foretold by Nick's grandma. It may be easy for us to write off these early warnings as jokes or the ravings of a madman, but we know that Nick isn't mad, as evidenced by this note we see from Dr. Scripps after Nick was released from his care. The aforementioned man in the stairs kinda looks like Dan Bongino, though his true identity has never been revealed. The man in the stairs was last seen at Nick's Halloween party, after Jeff Bezos turned Nick's friends against him and locked him in the basement. Thankfully, Nick survived the encounter, and they have since come to an agreement. Perhaps more terrifying are the people in the forest of Tennessee. In fall time, they descend from the trees to lay their eggs. Human beards are a particular favorite for them, presumably for their warmth. As recently as last year, Nick was visited by Helmo, who informed him of a distant land where monsters walk the streets of man. Helmo's appearance could foreshadow further hauntings and happenings, perhaps the reappearance of the family from Cocomelon. Most horrifying of all, the men in the tunnels have made multiple appearances in Nick's life. He seems to be most familiar with them, as he receives warnings from both his grandma and the ghost of Ernest P. Worrell. The men in the tunnels survive on meat. From what we've gathered, Nick and his grandma have been feeding the men in the tunnels to prevent them from rising up and unleashing hell. At one point, during their dispute over the birds, Nick attempted to feed Mel to the men in the tunnels, though it appears that Nick's grandma learned of it and became irate. After the men in the tunnels rose up in an apocalypse, Nick served alongside Beetlejuice for a brief time as the king of Halloween, until he was untimely dethroned by an unruly flock of Jeff Bezos. His political career did not end there, however. When Joe Biden failed to appear for a debate, Nick became president of the new United America. Despite all the slander, prices on his head, physical attacks, and attempts on his life, Nick Lutsko has survived to see another Halloween season. If you want to learn more about Nick and his peculiar adventures, check out his YouTube channel, which is linked below. If you enjoyed this exploration of spooky happenings, check out my main channel, Mirror Reads, where I do deep dives into the lore of A Song of Ice and Fire. If you have any other requests for YouTube lore breakdowns, let me know in the comments. Until next time.